Hi, this is Lucky Robin, and tonight I am going to be making a triple batch of casserole, chicken, and brassica casserole. For this recipe, you'll need 3 cups of sour cream, 1 bunch of green onions, 9 cups of shredded chicken breast, 3 boxes or 3 cans of condensed cream of chicken soup, some mozzarella cheese, some sage, some cheddar cheese, and then as many tater tots as it takes to cover the top of these casseroles. Alright, we're going to start by dumping our 3 boxes or 3 cans, if you're using cans, of cream of chicken soup. Gonna add in our sour cream. I'm using Thrive sour cream. One of my favorite things to get from Thrive, because we have had too much sour cream go moldy in the past, and having it powdered where I can just make it up as I need it has been wonderful. No more waste at all. Alright, now we're going to put in the green onions. I'm also using Thrive green onions here. I have had more than my share of green onions go bad in the fridge too. Okay, we need 3 cups of cheddar cheese and 3 cups of mozzarella cheese. You can use any blend you want. Most of the time I use a Mexican blend cheese or Colby Jack. I don't have those today, so I'm using this. I'm going to mix that all together. And then we're going to sprinkle in a tablespoon of sage. If you don't happen to have sage, poultry seasoning is fine. Predominant flavor in poultry seasoning is sage. But you can use whatever you want. I have done this with Indian blend spices. I have done this with Italian seasoning. But if you're using herbs and not spices, I would up it to 3 tablespoons of herbs. But with powdered spices, 1 tablespoon for a triple batch is sufficient. Okay, and get that seasoning blended in. And we're going to add in the chicken. And just work that all together. See, I'm not one of these people that has the stamina or the ability to do the once a month cooking where I'm cooking, where you'd be cooking all weekend and you'd be putting in 30 dinners in the freezer at a time. I just can't do that with my rheumatoid arthritis. But if I'm going to be making one casserole, it is not that much more work to make 3. 1 for dinner, 2 for the freezer. And we've got so much going on right now, getting ready for the funeral, that it helps to have this stuff ready. So we don't have to think much about dinner over the next several days. And then the funeral's Wednesday, so. We'll have plenty that we can just pull out and make for dinner as needed, and send some extra to my mother-in-law, because the last thing she's wanting to think about right now is feeding herself, which you do when you lose your spouse of over 50 years. Alright, that's well mixed. So on to the next step. Alright, our next step is to divide our broccoli and cauliflower between the 3 casserole dishes. If I had a big enough bowl, I would have just mixed this all in, but I didn't. But when I'm making a single batch of this, then I will. But that's okay, we can mix it in the pan. And just spoon it in. I like to do 1 in each container until I run out, so that it's all evenly dispersed. These pans are a little bit bigger than the ones I usually get. I grabbed the wrong ones. I grabbed the lasagna ones when I meant to grab the regular casserole ones. But they'll work. They'll just take up a little more space in the freezer than I was intending. Alright. I'm going to mix that with the broccoli and cauliflower. And if you don't like cauliflower, leave it out, just do broccoli. If you don't like broccoli and just like cauliflower, same thing. In fact, you don't even have to put any vegetables in here and it still tastes good. That's just something I do because I like to add a little more nutrition into the meal when it's got this much sour cream and this much cheese in it. So just flatten it out in the pan. And you can see this is yeah, these are way too deep, these casseroles, but that's okay. I'll have to go back and get the right ones and save these ones for lasagnas, which I will be making some of coming down the road. Because when I make lasagna, it's definitely a triple batch situation. Okay. Now, if I had more than a family of 4, I would even probably just double this up, double the amount of everything into each one of these pans, and it would feed everybody. But family of 4, this feeds everyone just fine too. Okay, let's get that mixed up a little better. My hands are about to give out. See, this is also why I don't do more than triple batch cooking when I do this, because my hands would never make it through the day. Alright, so I've got a 5-pound bag of tater tots here, plus a little bit that was left over from previous. I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to need to use. Let's find out. You just want to cover the tops. Oh, come on, runaway tater tots. One of the things I really like about this is it's a complete meal. I don't have to serve a vegetable on the side. Just open a jar of fruit or grab an apple or something from the fridge. Nothing more complicated. Get these all spread out. And I do have more tater tots in the freezer if the 5-pound bag is not enough. But I think it's going to be. Alright, so if I hadn't used what was left in that other bag, I would have, a 5-pound bag would have been enough for these 3 casseroles. And just fill in the holes. And we're good. Alright, so if you are cooking this tonight, this will go for whatever the baking time is on your tater tot bag, and mine is 40 minutes. If you're baking it from frozen, you'll need to cook it for probably an hour and a half. It's been a while since I've done it. Might take up to 2 hours, but during the last 5 minutes of cooking, you want to sprinkle just a handful of cheese over the top, and then it will be done, and you cook it at 350 degrees. So, during the last 5 minutes of cooking, you want to sprinkle some more cheese on the top, just as much as, you know, maybe a handful, and then it's at 350 degrees. So there you go, triple batch cooking. It works good if you don't have a lot of stamina, but you can still get some meals in the freezer for later. One thing I forgot to mention is that I will freeze these uncovered for 2 hours before I put the foil on, and then I'll come back and put the foil on, and then I can stack them on top of each other at that point because they'll be hard enough not to sink in.